So what's the difference? I can have a trailer or I can have a truck, or these are things that I own in my community, but there's a difference between if I live in this trailer. So what's the...
Is it a travel trailer or a mobile home?
It's a travel trailer, two of them.
Oh.
And they live in, and on weekends, people come in there and stay in them. But they don't move them. They permanently down there on that lot. So
That's to get the ordinance people.
yeah, they look at this. I just look at this.
That's one of the ordinances
But
that
that's
we're recommending.
Yeah, we're trying to find a homeowner's HOA over there right now.
That's tricky.
And that's what we're trying, because it's growing so fast, sir. And on weekends, I mean, it's amazing what happens on weekends in the neighborhood. And right now, we have 3 houses under construction. And one of them has a pilot, a porta potty, because there's no sewage on their side. So now another home tell me they're gonna put porta potties on their house, on their back too. So
We're fixing the sewage problem.
okay,
Wait,
and the porta potties ain't no good, sir.
If they building a home, how they not have sewage? Y'all, wait.
Yeah, they got the slab already poured.
When they're under construction, the people that work, they're the
Oh, yeah,
construction
you
workers
gotta have a porta
have to
potty.
have a porta potty.
But I'm saying, we're not talking about they building a house and with a porta potty.
No.
Okay.
Hold on.
Because
hold
we've
on.
seen,
Because that's exactly what happened with the approval with Ms. McCarter. Council and planning, hold on. I went over there with our public works people, so I know what was taking place. It was approved before that happened because there was no process for doing it, and just however it happened at the time, her and I think 3 kids did not. So I'm just making sure council understands why we're addressing, that's what's coming across us in this counter up here. And that's why, you know, dealing with areas works much better, because I'm gonna tell you, if someone else comes in and lays, especially if they did it in Rosewood, based on the rationale of the change that council has said took place, that if someone else put one up there and they were told they had to move and help us if they were of a different ethnic persuasion, we'd have a problem.
No, it's not a problem, because when you're our mayor and you're supposed to be giving to us a policy that says that this is what we're saying. We don't get to talk about all the other people. You're the current mayor. And we're saying if someone put a building in on Monday, this Monday coming, next Monday, what is your process on whether we're gonna issue a citation? We have an ordinance officer that's supposed to be going out and getting certified and all. We have put things in place so that doesn't happen. So moving forward, we're saying if someone puts a mobile home or does something like that in, they're gonna be issued a citation, and they have, 10 days to come before. I don't know the process, but I'm saying we need to set that process up so the mayor is covered and the city of Prairie is covered. But you're the mayor who's gonna deal with that when it first comes. And so we can't say we're gonna do what we did, what someone else did. We wanna know what our current mayor is gonna do.
Nothing has happened. Council, we're discussing the process now.
Okay.
So there is none
Okay.
that's different since Ms. McCardle's went in and subsequently was approved.
Mr. Kerwin.
That's what we're trying to fix.
Mr. Kerwin, what is our process so we know, so the mayor has a process to follow before it has to come either back to city council or before it goes to planning and zoning or before the police is called? Someone moves a mobile home in here illegally.
Like
The
Ms.
mayor,
McCardle.
like Ms. McCardle, but she's approved now. We talk about next Monday. Next Monday, so we can only do what we have the ability to impact. Next Monday, someone moves someone illegal who's a different hue, like the mayor wants to use the example, illegally. What is our process, and can we need to have a document, whether it's 1 page, half a page, that says we're gonna do this. They have 7 days. So the mayor says, hey, he sends someone out there, or Mr. Johnson calls and we find out, or I call and I say, Mr. Mayor, I need you to check, I seen a mobile home come in last night. The mayor says, I will send up, whether it be can we send the police, or does he have to send the code enforcement officer that says, hey, you have 10 days to come to the mayor, to come to City Hall to get, to find, to give us why do you have this in here, because it's illegal? Or the process is they gotta remove it within 3 days? Again, cause if somebody move a mobile home, it takes a while to move, but we gotta have a fair process, but we need to have it documented that would say, so everyone knows that, hey, you moved a mobile home in here regardless of who it is, cause it happens next Monday. That we said, hey, you got 10 days to talk with the mayor, and you're gonna be or you have 5 days and then you're being fined after the 5th day, and then you have to have it moved within 30 days, whatever that is. I'm just coming up with stuff, but again, I'm saying that this needs to be a process so the mayor now can execute, because again, he's giving a good example, something that's been approved already, but he's giving a good example, that's stuff that we've had to deal with, and I'm not gonna say that we haven't. There are people who've moved stuff in here at nighttime.
No question.
But the question is, we can't go back and retrofit what happened 10 years ago or last week. We can only go on what we can do this week.
Well, what we need to do is empower counselor to work on such a process to bring to the council for approval. And that way, we've got a document and a starting point, and from that point, it becomes a lot easier. You know, sort of like grandfather, you know, this law was in place before you did that, so you have to follow it. Okay, counselor?
And I think
Anything else we need to address before the Friday and Monday?
just
Are we meeting Monday? I'm sorry.
the night.
We haven't had a
The
motion.
ninth, okay, skip Monday, good.
Just just to kind of tie it all together, and kind of what covers us with the McCarter situation is there was no policy in place. So, you know, we had to act with the understanding there was no policy in place, but going forward, there will be a policy in place, so it can, you know, anytime the NFL changed the rule, they call it the rule after the person who, so, I mean, it could be the.
Carter rule.
Carter
Carter rule. I gotcha.
But
Unofficially, good,
no.
but that's what it is, but, you know, this situation prompted the need for there to be a policy, and for all of us, I mean, that's what governing's about, is you have to experience certain situations in order to realize things you have to govern accordingly in the future.
But we did have a policy, it's called zoning.
It was a.
That's zoned R1 and no manufacturing homes were allowed.
I mean, the policy,
We violated
I'm
our
saying,
own.
we didn't have a policy about what happens if somebody moves a structure
Violates the
in.
zoning.
Right, we didn't have a policy about that, that's what we're discussing.
Do we officially make a motion,
Yeah,
for?
is it an ordinance? Would it be an ordinance? I guess we would need to get the attorney to.
No, they talking about the same thing, he said
I'm
that
talking
we need to make a
Motion for, has someone made a, okay. I, Exante Wallace, move that we have a planning and zoning town hall meeting on June 9th at 4 p.m. at City Hall.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we have a planning and zoning town hall meeting at 4 p.m. on June 9th at City Hall. You've heard the motion, ready for the discussion. All those in favor say aye.
It's a different meeting. Y'all's meeting is still on Friday, and then y'all come back to meet with us on the ninth.
Now, here's what we need, Mr. Brown. Friday, after you all meet, whatever documents you all come up with, suggestions, mapping, we need you to get it to Ms. Dickey and Ms. Cortez so they can get it to the rest of us. That way we'll just,
Did we say June? It should have been July 9th.
it's July. I said July.
You didn't- Okay,
Did I say July?
I think you may have said June.
Did I say?
The motion was changed.
Okay, well,
It's
we,
before
make sure it's a
July.
special meeting too.
Do it.
Special, like, the meeting just like this, a special meeting.
Yes.
I'll just post it exactly the same.
The other question I have, do we need to do the ordinance for Mr. Kerwin? Is that the director for the mayor? Have you already taken care of it, Mr.
The
For the procedure?
tightness, yes,
I don't need an
Yes.
ordinance, I can just,
yes.
I'll write out a list for y'all, what.
The other question, all this is up to date, this has been, this zoning application.
Yeah, it's been updated before not too long.
Can we start, this is just a practice can we start putting, the date, on the bottom or on the top? And so now when I look at it, it'll say, you know,
Dated on.
UP, and it'll say the date and the year, or the month and year. We don't have to have the date, but just the month and the year.
There are some Scribner's errors in there too, so I'll start looking at that,
Thank you.
council.
Anything else today?
Oh, Mr. Curran, you had number 4 and 5.
Yeah, 4 was was update the planning and zoning committee. You didn't say 5.
There's 5 members, and then there's also 5 alternate members, I believe, as well.
So our process calls for 5?
It was 2 alternates.
No, it's,
It's
I
5
just have
members
it.
and 5
And when
alternates.
was this updated? When was that, what you're looking at, when was that updated? We may need to look at that too.
This was
Do it all.
2006. It says there's hereby created a Prairie View Planning and Zoning Commission. The composition and activities of the commission shall be in accordance with blah, blah, blah. Commission shall be composed of 5 regular members and an alternate for each regular member, where such alternate shall only participate in the business before the commission when the regular member for whom they are an alternate is not
So it's
present.
5 and 5.
Can we get that email to us so we can have that on the next to update that? Do we need to update it or where everyone's fine?
Oh, what is it now?
Okay,
That's the
that's the zoning
the
ordinance.
That's
zoning
the
ordinance.
ordinance, but what is it now?
I don't
No,
have-
he's
That's what it is.
saying, what just he read, but I'm saying,
I'm saying like,
it was
what,
updated in
how we
2006.
been operating as?
what he just read.
Five
Now,
times?
well, we've been operating as like 7, but again, part of the issue is you have your alternates. You may not have all the people.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why you have just so many alternates, but we gotta figure out
So,
a system for them, because this is why I want us to relook at it. It had been updated since 2006, but when they meet, planning and zoning is just like economic 4B. There should be minutes,
right.
there should be a sign in on who was there, who was the regular, and who were the alternates, and we need to make sure we're formalizing this process, our part for those entities to be able to govern themselves. But we need to make sure that there's sound.
Yeah, the reason why I asked what we're operating now is because we're saying that there's like 7 regular members and there's 2 alternates. That means we'll have to change 2 regular members to alternates.
No, they may have had 7 showing up, but they weren't all regulars.
5 alternates. Is that
A
what,
couple of
5
those
members?
5 members and 5
Not
alternates.
everybody showed up.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Sometimes
saying
we can
so
barely
that
get
they
5
can have,
people to
because
show
that means we
up,
have to
or 4
rename
people.
a couple official positions.
So we're saying 5 and 5. Can you get us a list
We'll bring in-
of the, because we want to look at, looking at this on the agenda. No, wait. We don't need we need the list first,
The people.
so we can look at the people, and then the mayor would say, hey, I'll have these, I'm gonna put Joe Blow. I recommend Joe Blow, but we wanna see who's there now. You know, the information about, if you just have how long they've been on there, and then then that'll give us what we need to be able to update this from 2006. But we're gonna get this from Mr. Brown, correct? We should officially be getting it from the city secretary, actually, but that's fine. We wouldn't get it from Mr. Brown?
Well, Mr. Brown knows who the people are,
I'll bring
and he's
it
in
in.
touch with them, that's
I'll bring
best
it in.
source.
Okay.
And so,
And so can we get you to email us that, Mr. Kerwin? What you just read? I'm saying,
Oh,
we're
it's
gonna update, like,
Yeah.
so we wanna, again, we want that document to say updated 2018 from 2006.
Well, we
Since
can't
talked-
make the zoning change the next meeting, because if you want to change the composition, the numbers,
Mhm.
because to make a zoning change, you gotta go through the whole zoning process and publish it and all of that. And then you can make a recommendation, say, well, we want it to be this. But we gotta go through the whole formal process to make the text amendment.
And then one of the reasons why it's only 5 is because if you know in our community, a lot of people do a lot of things, and if it would have been a larger number, the quorum would have had to be higher. So the quorum of the 5, I think, is 3.
4. It's 4, according to this. This
Oh,
is-
because they have the alternates.
Right.
4 out of the 5 need to be there, and then those can be alternates too. So, what was number 5?
Zoning
Number 5?
application, we talked about the zoning application, we talked about that. So you wanted the date, and then the cleanup of it.
Can we find out how much money we have to go to all this? Like, we sure said we gonna do a whole lot, but we may only have $2. Like, what's the budget? What budget line item, so
Oh, we gotta wait till JJ.
No, Mr. The mayor did get that from JJ.
We can't do that.
Is JJ coming? Oh, okay. You remember, we didn't have no, I thought we was having a, okay. Is that it on, planning and
Anything else?
zoning, maps, procedures, legal issues?
At least for now, until we, have some more information in front of us.
Move to adjourn.
Anything else, council?
Second.
We're adjourned.
Can you write 5 on there, Myra? Yeah, just because I've been keeping track
I
of
didn't
when
know
we're
JJ was
adjourned.
gonna be here, remember, we didn't get no package.
We didn't have a packet, whoa, whoa,
I
whoa.
know, we didn't have a packet.
But we didn't have a packet, so.
Right, that's why I was like, the financials, I would've been able to look.
finished.
The only reason I said it is, if we
Before
had a
that's what I
packet,
was
would've been
doing
able to
before I
look at
came in here and
financials.
sat down.
Like right now.
Yeah, no, I get you. It's like the rest of us, like, we're trying to stretch our legs a little bit.
Man, I get you, but we had prep to be here.
Is she gonna be?
Yeah, well.
Yes.
Oh, I'm good, I wanna leave. I need to go